in real life.
Welcome. Are we waiting for people to come in?
They're still coming in, but they can still join as
Okay.
we start.
All right. Welcome and thank you all for joining us for the very first episode of That's Key Live. I'm your host, Tanisha McLeod, style curator, also known as the Cultured Maven. Now, this is the month of love, and what better to celebrate than the love of fashion? So, we're going to ask some questions today. We're going to have some fun. And during this live session, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. So let's get started with none other than the winning stylist of Eye on Fashion 2022 Fashion Style Competition, Kishana Miller McNeil, also
Hey,
known none other than Key. Key is the owner of Styled by That's Key, wardrobe styling and personal shopping business. She is a two-time award-winning wardrobe stylist and multi-published stylist. Please help me welcome Miss Kishana.
hi, y'all. Y'all see my trophy in the background?
Check that trophy out. Yay! I'm so happy to be here with you.
I am too. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Joining me for
This
the
is your
first
show.
episode. Yes, it's the first episode. So I am super excited to be sharing this moment with you guys.
Well, we are excited to learn more about you and the entire process. So, why don't we just jump right into it? Tell us
Yes.
more about your styling business.
So my styling business is Styled by That's Key. And I just love working with the everyday woman. My tagline is developing your key style. So that is finding style within you, dressing for you, and loving yourself. So all of my clients is not about me styling them based on how I dress. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm extra and over the top. so,
We love
any-
that.
yes, anything glitz and glam, I'm for it and I love it. But it's about, my clients developing their style. And I do everything with my business from wardrobe styling to image consulting, and then also getting into fashion show production, fashion show styling, working with movies, working with corporate clients, working with the everyday mom. So, and also my fellas, I can't forget about my fellas,
Don't
making
forget
sure that
about
my fellas stay
colors.
fly. So that's just a little bit about me.
Well, it sounds like you do it all. So, what inspired you to apply for the Ion Fashion Style Competition?
So what encouraged me to apply is I'll go a little bit back from when COVID first hit. So when COVID first hit, right, we're all stuck in our houses. You have nothing to do but look at your phone or Facebook all day. And so I started to follow the fashion movement during that time. And I was like, at that time is also the time when I actually started my business. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I would love to do this competition. And so I reached out to Lacey immediately. We'll get to talk with him later. And I was like, hey, tell me a little bit more about this competition. At the time, obviously, we were on lockdown. We couldn't go anywhere. So he was like, hey, I'm not doing the competition right now, but like, just stay tuned. And if we bring the competition back, I will, let you know. I'm a firm believer in God always brings things full circle. So fast forward, I had some experiences with my own business with some individuals that I had the opportunity to work with. And I came circle back around to Lacey and I was like, so Lacey, what's up with the competition? And so we actually had lunch and you were with us that day and you were saying that you're bringing the competition back. And I was like, I have to apply. I feel like this is my opportunity to let people see who I am as a stylist. And I did, and I do not regret it.
And I wouldn't if I were you either. So tell us a little bit about your process when you are styling or putting an outfit together for a client.
So for a client, the first thing I look at is their body type. Obviously, that's extremely important. I look at their personalities. I look at skin tone. I look at eye colors because going back to that color wheel and the color palette, all those things are important when you're styling someone. You'll style someone who is my complexion, a little bit different from someone who has a darker complexion. For my ladies who are extra and over the top like me, you're gonna go glitz, glams, bling out, razzle dazzle, but that's not my everyday client. My everyday client is what we call in the fashion world a minimalist. So they don't like all the extra and the glitz and glam, but they still want to look trendy and they still want to look stylish. So for me, the process is just looking at the person as a whole, and then putting their looks together based on who they are as an individual, and then also looking at their lifestyle. So am I styling them because they are a corporate executive and they have to sit in the boardroom and host meetings all day? They're going to be suit down, still cute, still stylish, but suited down, looking at those basic colors. Or am I styling someone who has a big personality, might have their own show? You could kind of be a little extra with them and be a little bit more creative with them. So it just depends on what I'm doing. My process changes depending on if it's a fashion show versus a movie, right? If I'm styling for a movie, you have to look at your characters. So it's sitting down, reading the script, going over the script with the producer, and then it's a big whole team. So it's me, it's the makeup artist, it's your executive producer, and then you're trying to portray the character. You want the character to come across. Or if it's just simple fashion show production, most of my models here, they'll tell you that I am very down to the nitty gritty when it comes down to like fashion show production and the models and everything like that. So the process changes depending on what I'm actually doing.
You just answered my next question, kind of. So did you take a special route when you were preparing for the Eye on Fashion Style competition, or was it the same process?
It was a different approach with this competition. My mind, I don't like to lose, first of all. So I'm gonna say I do
You're
not
competitive.
But I'm very extremely competitive. But I wanted to stay true to my aesthetic, and my aesthetic and who I am as a stylist is extra and over the top. I have to have a theme. My theme and my thought process has to match the model. So I look at each one of my models' personalities, and I'm like, okay, this look would fit this model, and this model can carry that look through. And so that's how I approached it. I wanted to not just present fashion, but I wanted to give a show, all the way down to my music choices, all the way down to how I instructed my models to walk. I know they were given, overall directions, but I gave them my directions. Like, I know what they said, but we're here to put on a show. And before we leave this competition, everyone in that building, win or lose, whether I win or lose, they're going to know who Key is when we leave that building. And so that's the instructions that I gave them. And my models, they took it and they ran with it. I gave them each an assignment. I feel like they embodied that assignment, and then we just took it and we ran with it.
You talk a lot about your models, which I know they're a huge part of this. How did you cast your models?
So I casted my models based on existing relationship that I already have with them. So every model that was part of the show, I have worked with them in some shape or form, whether it be photo shoots, whether we were part of a model group together. Because for those of you who don't know, I actually started off as a model. So my mom has always taught me, sometimes you don't come in through the front door. Sometimes you have to come in through the back door. And so with me being a former model, I knew that I could capitalize on that and use my skills as a model to get myself in the door. And then I said, oh, yeah, you think I could slay the runway? Now look at me, I can style as well. And then from there, I was given opportunities to style and assist with Elizabeth Carson Racker and Audrey McGee, Eric Wise, and Rick with Ricardo's Menswear. So I've worked with everyone. And then from there, just building my relationships with my models. I'm very keen on energy. So you can be a great model, you could be extremely talented, but if our energy is off, if you're not professional, if you're difficult to work with, then I don't work with you. And so every model here today, I have a relationship with.
Yeah, relationships are definitely important. So take me back to the moment where they announced that you were the winner of the competition. And tell us a little bit about the Prolific quarterly publication.
So starting with the moment that I won, I was actually standing next to Robert, and he was holding on to me real tight. I was like, he was like, "Ee," we were both like, "Ee," and then they announced my name, and then I stood there for a moment, and he was like, "They just called. They said, stylist number 4," and I said, "Wait, that's me." So everyone, and then just the moment when Giselle like screamed out before they announced our name, like. I turned around, I said, they didn't call my name. And she's like, oh, sorry. It was just an adrenaline rush. For me, it was just all my dreams coming true in that moment. Like my background is I'm an educator. So I was an educator for 12 years. And I will always pour into my students, and I'll always encourage them to go be their best and to go accomplish their dreams. And it was like, well, what about yours? Because I will always share with them, oh, if I wasn't teaching, I would be a stylist. If I wasn't teaching, I would be sketching and I would be doing this. And so it was actually my students that were like, oh, but you should be doing those things. Like you tell us. And I would give excuses. Oh, I'm too old. Oh, it's too late. Or, I gained weight. I can't walk like I used to. I can't do the things that I used to. And it was like, my students will always say, it sounds like you're making excuses. So like I stopped making excuses and I used my time wisely in 2020, started my career. And so for me, like I said, that night is just redemption for me. Just actually proving, not really about proving to anybody else, but proving to myself that I can do it. So wow. It was just like, whew, like, and then like, yeah, it was just like redemption. So I had a whole moment, and then the icing on the cake was sharing that moment with my daughter. I feel like as a mom of a mother, I feel like I am her, I'm her example of what excellence looks like, what accomplishment looks like. And she got to see mommy win. And so that was just the icing on the cake. She was like, mommy, you got a trophy? And I said, yes, I got a trophy. And then of course, my husband Ray took the cash. So
he was like, that was payback, because I'm sure you were dipping a lot.
Yeah, he was like, I'll take the envelope. I'm like, yeah, I bet you would.
Well, that's very inspiring.
It is. Now the moment with Prolific, that's epic. I also hold on. It is right here, you guys. Yes. The issue is right here. Super exciting moment. It was my first time working on a production at that level, with multiple models and multiple people, multiple hands in a pot. Like I had my vision of how I wanted to come across as a stylist, but working with H and his team, they opened up my mind to additional possibilities. They just made the experience so much better. I got there and I was like, because I'm used to being like a one-woman show. Like, so I'm used to like hiring my own makeup artist and hiring my own hair person and hiring my own photographer and, being the planner and executing those things and having someone, with me that day that was like, we got you. Like, H was like multiple times, he's like, breathe. We got you. And they just took my vision and they ran with it. And once again, giving the props to my models, like everything that I told them, everything that I wanted them to do, like they did it plus more. It was cold that day. We were out there 6 o'clock in the morning till I want to say 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a full day and they stuck with me through this whole process. And I could not have done this without them. Like I owe everything to everyone that is around me. So that whole Prolific experience, like Y'all check this out.
Yeah.
Go get your issue. This is everything.
Wow. Shout out to the Ion Fashion Style Competition. Shout
Yeah.
out to Prolific and shout out to those models. I
Mhm.
love that. So why don't we introduce the movers behind the movement? Are you up for that?
Yes, I'm ready.
All
Let's
right. Up next, we have Lacey B. Smith. He is the founder and chief executive producer of the Fashion Movement. The Fashion Movement is a multifaceted fashion event production, marketing, and design firm located here in Tampa, Florida. Lacey is best known to be the creative mastermind behind some of the hottest events here in the Bay. You may recognize Bow Ties and Clutches, Ion Fashion Style Competition, Hot Water Fest, Hot Accessory Shows, just to name a few. So, also coming up next, H. Albert Prolific, known as the man called H, right? He is the editor and chief executive creative director of Prolific Quarterly. H. Albert is best known as the influential editor in chief of Prolific Quarterly magazine. H. Albert is also the CEO of Prolific Worldwide, which is a full entertainment and management consulting firm, founder of H Couture, and managing director of The Man Called H Enterprises. Say that 3 times fast. Okay. This is huge.
H, what's going on?
What's up,
Welcome.
Lacey? Hey,
Good,
ladies,
man.
how are
Good.
you?
All looking great here tonight. The tea looking
Oh,
beautiful.
everybody, look at Key's hat, man.
A new
I
one.
love it.
Yep. Tea looking beautiful. Tea looking beautiful. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome, fellas. We're so excited to have you guys here.
Thank you.
We
Thank
got
you.
some questions for you guys, okay?
Let's go.
Uh-huh.
All right. Lacey, tell us more about the fashion movement.
Hey, well, first of all, I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here. Once again, congrats to Kay. Kay, again, I said it to her many times before, but once again, congrats on winning the Iron Fashion competition last year. And thanks to H again for providing you with that photo shoot as well as a winning stylist. The fashion movement, basically, you said it before, it's a multifaceted fashion events production, marketing design firm based in Tampa, Florida. We started in New York years ago, 1990, as a matter of fact. So it's a long time ago. We started back in New York. We started off basically volunteering at Fashion Week in Bryant Park back in the 80s, when it was under the tents. And I learned my craft from there, from volunteering every year and just learning how to put together fashion events, how to run a team, how to manage a team, and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from volunteering. And then in terms of forming the fashion movement, I went to a lot of fashion shows, not fashion week shows, but fashion shows off Fashion Week, basically, that really weren't doing any justice for the designers. They have club shows, shows in churches. And back then, that's what they had. They didn't really have a lot of mainstream shows like we do now, to be honest with you, back in the 80s. It was a church show or the club show, okay? And designers would go to shows in the clubs. And after the show, it was over. It's a party. So no one really came to pay attention to the designers per se. They came to party. So they weren't getting it just due for putting in all that work to create those garments. And so my brother Tony and I decided, hey, let's try something. So we came up with a thing called Fashion Movement. It wasn't the Fashion Movement, it was Fashion Movement. It was a weekly event we did in the city, a place called Lola's, which Puff Daddy later bought and turned into Justin's.
Wow.
So we did a show in that venue every Monday. And what happened is the young lady who was managing the venue was the venue's manager. Her name was Charlie, and she said to me one day, she said, I could get you on Good Day New York. I'm like, oh, Good Day New York. I'm getting nervous now because I'm no, Good Day New York. I stutter a lot, but then I'm like, what do I handle that? So I said, okay, let's do it. So I went home, man. I practiced like in front of myself, the mirror, doing an interview and stuff like that, and went on Good Day New York, and basically that again, give us a platform, just I could say like it propelled us basically, to that next level. And after that, we started doing fashion movement more and more in the city, and we just started meeting designers, young designers from the school, from the Fashion Institute of Technology, and we started doing shows with them and helping them to get the platform that they needed to basically launch their lines. And we made so much relationships with designers who are now established in New York, in California, and in Europe. They were part of the movement initially. Like, Paul Arrington, he's a big guy in Macy's and now in New York. He was part of the movement before. And that's basically how we started. Then I came to Tampa, and I said, if I'm going to go to Tampa, I'm taking whatever I have, my vision, my dream to me with Tampa. So I took it here to Tampa, and it's no another level,
The rest is history. So fast forward all these years later, and what was the inspiration behind the Eye on Fashion style competition? Because you do so many events, but what was the particular inspiration behind Eye on Fashion?
One thing I always try to do is provide a platform for those who doesn't have a platform. And there are two segments of the industry that never had a platform. Those are accessory designers and stylists. And when I said I was working with a PR firm back in 2010 about promotions, and I sat down one day. I was talking to the director of the PR firm, and I said to her, I'd like to do something for stylists and accessory designers because they don't have a platform within the industry for them. And I checked Google, and I could never find a stylist competition. I didn't find an accessory designers show. So she said, "Yeah, let's do it. What do you want to call it?" I said, "I don't know, but I'm going to come up with something." So it took me like a few weeks, and I'm there, and I'm saying to myself, "Who keeps an eye on fashion in the industry? Really, it has to be a stylist. You have all these trends, with the designs come up, but who really keeps an eye on the fashion trends? What's happening in the not just the fashion industry, but also the beauty industry. It's the stylists. They're the ones who they're the go-to. They're the go-to before bloggers became the thing. It was stylists who were really the ones who had an eye in the industry. You know what I mean? And they still do. So that's how we came with the word eye on fashion, basically, because we know they were the ones who kept their eye on fashion. And we started the competition back in 2012. And you were a model then, T, the first one.
Fun fact. Modeled in the very first Eye on Fashion style competition.
So that's where that started. And also back to the entire fashion movement thing. I was always into fashion because my mom was a seamstress, right? So she inspired me a lot. As a kid growing up, she would make all our clothes for church, clothes for school. She would make sure we dressed out on Sundays going to church, so even though we didn't have a lot of money, but she'd make sure we were dressed. Me and the boys, we had our bow ties on, our jackets going to church. We were always sharp going to church. So, and I've loved fashion since then. I've been delving in fashion since then. I've always, have that thing in my heart for fashion and style.
Shout out to moms for the inspiration. H, tell us a little bit about the partnership between you and Lacey.
Oh man, me and Lacey have known each other for years, and I've always respected Lacey. Lacey always treats me above and beyond. Every time I'm around Lacey, I feel good. And over the years, we've met out at different events, and years, I guess, before COVID, we started talking about possibly doing something together. And after COVID kind of cleared up a little bit, Lacey approached me and said, "Hey, man, it's time. I'm going to run something by you, and hopefully that you're excited about it." And that was the Eye on Fashion competition. So we went back and forward, and I said, "Hey, man, I believed in his vision. Everything that he had just said, I mean, that is truly how it is." And I said, "Hey, let's do it." And I knew we could, bring something to the table and make it a thing that the person that won and the person in second place, we wanted to give them a lifetime situation that they would always remember and put them on a platform like no other.
And it sounds like you did just that by providing an amazing experience and education. So can you tell us a little bit about Prolific?
Yeah, Prolific Quarterly is an international fashion magazine. We follow the New York Fashion Week calendar with spring, summer, fall, winter. We do an annual fine arts and an annual boudoir edition. We started about 2014, August 2014, and we've been really blessed to put together an award-winning team consisting of designers, stylists, hair, makeup artists, photographers, and videographers. We travel around the world and do what we have done for this. And we're just loving life, given that experience. Our background is we have to put people that have names in the magazine, but our heart is the up and coming artists. So we really try to focus on that. So when you're talking about having an up and coming artist, then for our standpoint, we have to go above and beyond to make that experience the best and for the end product to be able to compete with anything that's in the marketplace. So we've worked very hard to do that. And over the last couple of years, it's given us a lot of awards across the globe, and we're going to continue to do it. And this is just the first thing that we'll do with Lacey. We're going to do some other great stuff and create some magic.
I believe that. Key, can we see that magazine again? Can you hold that up?
You can see the magazine and the trophy. So
beautiful. Yes, where's the trophy at? Like, this is a brag
and-
moment right here. Can we brag about this for a second?
I don't want to get any of
Yeah.
the fingerprints on it, but that's the trophy.
Beautiful
I love
trophy.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
H, can you tell us more about the feature? I know you said that you guys worked really hard to go above and beyond. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to work with Key and what you guys did.
Definitely. So definitely an advantage for us was, being in the front row and actually partaking in the whole competition and getting a feel for all the designers that were competing. I was tallying my little scorecard up, and I hit it pretty good. I kind of got the first and second. Not to brag, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. But seeing it was really incredible because not only were you seeing the stylist work, but that end part where they had the time limit that they had to create that last look was really incredible. So it helped us to see how the stylists actually worked with the models, how they're able to work together, and it made our job a little bit easier. So the first thing we did was interview. Me and Key kind of got together, had a conversation, like family, shared a little bit about each other, some of our goals, how we work, so we can have an understanding of who we were. And we were able to identify that she was used to being a one-man show and doing everything together. So that's fine because that means that she can wear different hats. So going through the process of pulling a creative team in where we have, she's able to talk to them and go over what her heart is for hair and her heart is for makeup. And for us to put a board together for the team was really easy because she knew what she wanted. So we were able just to add to what she wanted so that she could have that experience. It was quite easy to work with Key. I knew most of the models. If I didn't know them personally, I knew their work and I knew what the word around town was with them. So for us, it was very simple. We had a list of models. We had a stylist that understands what she's doing, what her heart is. She can tell you what's in her heart and bring it to the table and say, this is what I think. So for us, it's easy. That's easy for me. Usually I have to get everything out of them and help them see it before I can even bring it to my team. So with Kia, it was really easy. And her styles are pretty incredible, and I think we had a couple conversations. I consider Kia as a friend now because we've told each other stuff that
you try all over again.
See, it goes back to those relationships, right?
Yeah, definitely. Love her husband. Her husband's cool. I love that dude. And I think that we'll do some other stuff together too. So her winning, she got a cover in a feature. She got a lot of pages in there. That was our biggest publication. I think it's 268 pages in that one. That's our biggest publication in the year, and she got a lot of pages.
Wow.
Very hard. It was very hard. There was nothing that was bad in that shoot for the day. So it made my job really hard.
I think you did a good job, though, narrowing it down. Beautiful.
Definitely. So we have some other images that are going to be going out to the models because we couldn't put a whole lot since there was an interview, but we're going to give the models a bunch of edited pictures so that they can share them and put them in their portfolio. Everything was good. Key's awesome.
That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. As you mentioned a little bit about how being able to see that live styling at the end of the competition where they were a little under pressure. We did a few things to them. We threw out these unexpected little curveballs. So Lacey, can you talk to a little bit about why the Eye on Fashion Style competition is set up the way that you've set it up, where it's some very live moments happening?
It's very simple to me. I mean, you want to see what the stylist could do, you know, under pressure, basically. When we started out initially, the first Eye on Fashion 2012, we had a small segment of for live style, but it wasn't that intense. So it was pretty easy. So going forward, coming back, every year we increased that intensity of the live styling. The second, third, fourth year, we had the same one segment of live styling, you know, where there's we'd give them a bag with their with the garments and stuff like that. But that to me was still too easy. If you're gonna get that trophy and that cash, you know, I want to make sure you earn it. You know what I mean? And I want to make sure people could see you also as a stylist, show what you could do, you know, live under pressure in case someone wants to hire you, wants to, you know, hire you as their stylist, then be able to see that you could style this person, put this color together with that color, with this hat, with that shoe, you know what I'm saying? So basically we want to put them under pressure to make sure they could. I mean, I've seen stylists before in past events, you know, before, you know, who drop stuff on the ground. They get so nervous they can't even finish their live styling piece. You know what? This set of stylists for this last event, I must say, they were very on point, very professional, and for Key to be the one that stood out at the end, that's impressive because we had 6 impressive stylists during. For you to be the one who won, that was amazing. You know, yes. So that was, I mean, we like to challenge them, and for this year, I'm thinking of how do we raise the bar to challenge them even further, you know, and so that's my next thought. And there's Tanisha, you're my fashion director, so you know we're going to sit and talk about that.
Right. Come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Key, what was that like? What was the experience of going through the competition like for you?
It was amazing for me. I pulled on my background as an educator. You have to plan for everything. So when like you're executing a lesson plan, what do? You have a backup plan. If technology goes out, you have a backup, especially schools I worked in. You can almost count on technology going out. So a sister had to have backup plan. When the AC go out, you have to have backup plan. So in my mind, I just took that same process. Okay, if a model doesn't show up, what is my backup plan? If a garment falls apart, what is my backup plan? As far as the pressure part, I'm used to being under pressure, especially when you're in the classroom and you have 28 eyes on you, or sit in the classroom, or 35 sometimes. I'm used to being under pressure, so it wasn't pressure for me per se. But it's just planning and executing, having my vision. I planned everything all the way down to a binder. So I had a binder, I had each model in the binder, I had their looks, I had all the accessories that I knew that I needed. So today, but it's funny because Lacey was asking me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm good. I'm good. I'm calm."
Mhm.
Like, and so I was just walking around, sitting down, had my food, I like to eat, and I was good because I was prepared. That's the main thing with anything that I do, especially in styling, to be prepared as much as possible, so that if a curveball does come, then you could kind of readjust if you need to. So I just planned and had my plan and I was ready to go. Same thing all the way down to the day of the shoot. Had a plan, knew what I wanted, knew how I wanted to execute it, and let's go. Let's do it.
Did you
If
plan
you're
that
watching
the wig thing too?
Huh?
The wig? Did you plan that?
We're
That
going
was
to talk about that with the models, but yes, that was fun.
and then
The wig snatch was epic, and Corella Duville she is here and she is ready to. Yeah,
that caught me
she's
off
here.
guard.
She's in the
I'm
building.
like, what?
Corella's in the building, you guys. So we are ready. We are ready to bring on the models, and I'm so excited. Thank you for the opportunity. I will be in the building this year for Ion Fashion. I'm already thinking about my outfit and what I'm gonna wear. So I know me. I'm gonna have to make it do what it do.
Yeah.
When I show up and walk through the building, I might even bring my trophy with
That's
But I
right. We
appreciate you
love
guys.
that. Fellas, thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about the whole experience with us. And we hope to have you back again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The movement wouldn't be the movement without the models. Now, I must say, Miss Key's team showed up and showed out. If you weren't there, you missed a show. Okay. They showed out on the runway. And let's meet them. Okay. The fabulous models are Jazzy, Danny J, Julie Marie, who couldn't be with us tonight, Robert Bately, Giselle, and Delicia. Did I say that right?
Hey, team!
Hello, team.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Welcome in. Welcome in. Everybody looks fabulous.
Robert.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Robert,
He always
What
shows
you mean?
up.
are you trying to
That
steal
boy
the
is
show
showing
again?
his chest. I know that's
Oh,
right.
this? Oh, it's Friday. This is what I'm doing on Friday.
It's your casual wear, your lounge wear.
Wow.
It
Look
wouldn't
at
be
the
wrong. It
dream
wouldn't be wrong.
team. Okay, so I got some questions for y'all. Feel free to jump in and chime in. But we're going to start with, what did the Ion Fashion competition experience mean to you guys?
It meant
I know y'all not shy.
Come on.
for me, it was an honor to represent her style in front of a really great audience, and it was an honor to walk with such talented models and just being there with you guys. It was a great time, and personally, I'll never forget it. That was like my favorite fashion show ever.
Yay!
Ion Fashion, that whole experience to me was really a chance to be part of the community and get to meet the models in the area and get to meet some new stylists, get to see new faces, people who are really part of the industry in our area, meet some new local brands, some small businesses. It was really more of a bonding experience for me. And I'm very grateful to have been a part of it. I got to meet some really great people and got to see some amazing art. It was all around an amazing experience.
Wow.
Definitely it was an experience, but I mean, that's what Lacey gives you, an experience. So you can't expect nothing less. But for me, it meant everything. Though I've been modeling for a while, just going into a new venue, meeting new people, putting yourself out there. And of course, I wouldn't be on nobody else's team but Keys.
Exactly.
So the Ion Fashion, it was everything for me. Like my girl said, you just meet new people, new faces, network with small businesses, big businesses, just everyone. So really just going out, having fun and putting yourself out there. So it did mean a lot to me and I got a lot out of it. I was on a winning team.
You guys are the winning team.
Yes.
So, from somebody who has not spoken yet, and then the rest of you too, describe what the day of the competition as well, either the competition or the day of the quarterly prolific shoot, what that experience was like for you guys.
I think it was mind blowing. It was so beautiful. I think the venue itself and my part in particular, I was kind of nervous about. I was like, how are we going to do this? It's like, well, we're just going to get out there, put everything on, and you remember how you're supposed to look. And it was like all eyes on us. I felt like, to be honest, we had it. We knew we did.
The confidence was up.
Yes, it was. And it was so much fun because I've never done anything like that. And to have Key, like, her vision on me, literally, like coming out basic and then walking down there a whole different outfit, a whole different person. It was just great. I loved it.
Girl, you killed it. Because when you put that outfit on and you were all together, you was like, you ready for me to walk? I said, you better slay. I got you. And she just slayed. I was like, yes, honey. Yes.
There was like 3 poses. It was like, nah, I'm going to just go till she tell me to come on.
So I've heard that Key has a very different personality when she is in her style mood. It's almost like her Sasha Fierce comes out, right? Describe what the experience was like working with her.
Working with Key, it's very special because she definitely looks at who you are as a person and the style that you have to represent. She looks at every unique bit of you. If you noticed in the show, all of our looks were so diverse and so unique to our personalities. And I felt that they were so perfect. My outfit felt like it was a direct representation of who I wanted to be. And Cruella looked like that was the diversity of who she could be. And Jazzy going out there with her golden goddess look really showed what beauty she has within her and that just natural oozing femininity. She looks directly into who you are and styles you accordingly. Nothing is ever going to be basic, and it's never going to be something that you can see again. Everything one in a million.
Changing. Like I said, this isn't my first time working with Key. So seeing Key or working with Key from modeling to now stylist, different transition because now she has the freedom to do like what it is that she really wants. And that's the thing. One thing about Key is that she's organized, she's disciplined. So when she reaches out and like, hey, I have this great project in mind, I think you'll be great for it. And she starts telling you her vision. At this point, it's just like, okay, where do I fall in line?
Right.
Where do I sign?
Where do I sign up? Where do I fall in line? Because as Giselle says, like she really takes her time to get to know the model, pick up on your personality. Just, she makes her vision kind of fit the mold of the model. So working with her for the competition, for the photo shoot, like honestly, I wouldn't want any other stylist to work with but Key because she's that amazing. Like she's very, like I said, disciplined. She's on it. She's organized. She wants to create that experience as well for you. So she's going to make sure all the little small details are handled so you don't have to worry about anything. So that's one thing I really do love working with Key.
Okay.
And she has a show.
I wasn't expecting to cry. Y'all know I'm emotional.
No, but that's what it is. That is what it is.
And you have the show out factor too. So we're working with Key. So most of the time stylists have they have a style. Like, you look at someone and you see, who it is, no matter who's wearing it. But Key style is that, like Giselle and Jazzy were saying, She literally can take anybody and highlight all of their natural attributes. And
Right.
that is true talent, because she's gonna pull whatever she does, whatever that is. You have to pick a name for it, but she'll pull from even if it's a regular stylist or a regular client that's not a model. She can pull that beauty, that style, that swagger from anybody. It can be a garbage man, it can be a teacher, it can be a high fashion model. It doesn't matter. Whatever she puts you in, you're going to have a shock factor. Like, oh my goodness, I did not know I could look this way. She's so talented. And the day of the show, she was very quiet. We came in with Eye on Fashion. I love that you guys, by the way, Casey, Lacey, I love that you brought Eye on Fashion to Tampa, because it was such a great venue and a great experience for all of us. And it really stepped it up for the entire city. So thank you for that. But Key, she was more quiet than normal, because typically she's very, she'll give you a lot of feedback. But when we came in, she was very quiet and laser focused. So she's the most quiet when when she's creating her art, right? But other than that, she'll have a lot to say. But it's just
Okay,
thank you,
I love
Key,
it.
for
So
casting us.
listen, guys. There was a lot of iconic moments. Okay, we're giving Key all the accolades. Okay, we're giving her roses, but I gotta give y'all some roses, okay? Because I don't know if it was Giselle's jacket flip or Robert's split. Yes, full split. Okay, or Danielle's wig snatch, honey.
Don't make me.
Okay, there were some very iconic moments in there. But what was going through you all's mind when all of this is happening? Because there was a lot happening that night. There was definitely Eye on Fashion was putting on a show. Key was putting on a show. What was going on in you guys' mind?
Well, I can absolutely say that I was very nervous that I wasn't going to be able to get that clasp undone smoothly enough, or I was so nervous that when I turned, I would fall over, because I wanted to do it extra. I wanted to be, but with that comes a little bit of risk, and I was so scared that I wouldn't get the hook of the jacket undone, and it wouldn't come out the way that I practiced it to, or the way that I'd wanted it to. But once it had come off and I had accomplished what he had envisioned, it really felt like I had won an Olympic medal. I felt so, I don't know. It felt like a really, really big victory. And it's really the small things. It changed my whole walk. That jacket flip made my whole appearance in that show.
And you wore the outfit again.
I did. I wore it to the Masquerade Gala, another runway show, and they loved my outfit so much that they called me up onto the stage and had me walk on the runway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert, what was going through your mind?
Nothing. I was just in the zone. Focused, empty.
You was just giving us everything.
No, I mean, the crowd was great. They were a little quiet before I went out there, so I was trying to razz them up a little bit, get them moving. But man, the crowd was very, very happy to cheer and yell for us as soon as we started doing our thing on the runway. But I knew how much it meant to all the models walking with us, and Key, of course. And I really just didn't want to let the team down. I wanted to make sure that I showed out just as strong as all these great models on this team right here.
The entire team showed out. I mean, you guys were epic. But let's talk about this wig toss. This wig snatch, okay? So what was that? What was the feeling on that?
Oh my goodness. I don't have quite the words, but I know the audience, like Robert said, the audience, the response from everyone. I saw Lacey just cut and go. Lacey just stopped and said, he just turned and walked. Like, oh my God, I'm done. But it was like the show was over at that point. It was over. But, Key had everything coordinated to the T for all of us. But to take the wig off and just throw it, and just to have the natural beauty and be in your own essence, it felt amazing.
You had a Tyra Banks moment, honey. That was a Tyra Banks moment. Okay.
It was amazing.
So, did you guys feel prepared for the process? Did you feel prepared for the day of the photo shoot? How did Key prepare you guys?
Yeah, so like going back to what I said about her being organized, about her being disciplined, about her being focused, that is definitely a strong suit when working with Key. Anywhere from, let's just go back from the moment she came to us with the ideal all the way up the show to the photo shoot, there was constant communication, like group chat, emails, about just the looks, what to expect, fittings, like, hey, when's a good date? We need to get you guys fitted. Let's organize a time, a date. She had deadlines in her mind. So I think with how she works and how she organizes or structures this whole experience for us, she literally just hit every deadline, making sure she communicated from start all the way to finish. Like even now, we still get communication out there. So it's a beautiful thing to work with someone because, as you know, and I don't know if any other model can, attest to this. Working in this industry, sometimes you don't get that communication. Sometimes everything is not organized and well put together, and it's just thrown at you. So a lot of things is like day up, and you're like, I wish I would have known this. But one thing I can say, Key was definitely on top of her communication from start to finish. Emails, letting you know, hey, for your look, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going, how you feel about it. Just down to like the little things. So definitely A1 for Key.
I love it. So we all know that the fashion movement is known for providing a platform, right? Lacey has impacted the city on fashion in such a huge way. And a part of that was partnering with Prolific Quarterly to provide this amazing spread for you guys. So is this anyone's, we know it's out right now. How are y'all feeling about that? I know there's some level of excitement. Is anybody's first time being a published model?
It's my first time.
My first
And
Congratulations.
it's a really big deal, especially because I have a lot of family and a lot of friends on the reservation. And I don't know if you guys know a lot about the reservation, but it's not a very good life. I grew up without running water and without electricity. So to be able to come out of that and to come to somewhere where I knew nothing and knew nobody, and to make something of myself out of nothing and to chase a dream, it's really an inspiration for a lot of people back home. I get a lot of messages from friends or from family or even my friends' cousins or my friends' little siblings. I'm really giving hope to people that didn't think that there was a chance for a lot of things like that. So I sent home one of those magazines, and my best friend showed her little sisters, and it's their reaction to it and the fact that that's an actual tangible thing for somebody to do, to chase a dream. I'm just very blessed to be a part of it and to be able to chase a childhood dream. It's really an honor. I'm so grateful to have been a part of this.
Well, congratulations to all of you, because you guys earned that. Congratulations, Key. You guys are amazing. How did it feel? Last question. To be part of the winning team.
I couldn't contain myself. I screamed.
I knew that
All
was
of you, many of you.
So we already know.
Listen, all I have to say is I called it before we got there.
Yes, she
I
did.
called it.
Yeah, she
We
did.
all knew.
She did. She really
Yeah.
did.
We all knew before we even walked.
I was
She said
nervous,
we
but
about
guys,
to
like, we
kill
got
him.
it. We got it.
I'm telling you, T, I'm telling you, all I said, we were at, I think, our last fitting. We were at the last fitting rehearsal just to make sure everything was in its place, make sure the walks were right, just making sure everything where it needed to be. And I stopped and I sat there for a second and I said, y'all,
We're
I
gonna
said,
win.
I don't know about y'all, but we're gonna win this. We're gonna win this. Like it's in me. I feel it. And
It was
was
the
like,
models, the attitude, the stylist, the energy, the
it
colors,
was everything.
the
I was like, we're
execution.
gonna
The
win.
music.
She
From-
knew what she wanted before we
Oh
even
yeah,
came
the
to.
music.
Yes.
And the day of the show, when we came and when I tell you, every designer, every stylist there did their thing.
Oh yeah, it was
When I
some
said they
stiff
did
It was
competition.
great.
Mhm.
It
Stiff
was
competition.
it was an competition with Spears. But from the moment I said it all the way to the show date, even getting ready to walk up, I was like, yeah, we finna win. We finna take this
Yeah.
home.
I'm
We
telling
got
you.
this in the
Confidence.
back.
I love the confidence.
They were turned up the whole time, and I'm sitting up there like,
She was just like, we're like,
She was
we're ready,
so
we're ready.
because my
so
thing is, and
quiet.
I'll say this before we go, my thing is no matter what, and I say this to my friends, so for my friends who are watching, no matter what I do, I always want to remain humble. So humble to who I am as a person, humble to what I do. So yes, I was going in to win, but I don't ever want to come across the wrong way. So it's like remain humble in the process. Like people want to work with good people, people that are humble, not people that, not to say that I'm not confident. Of course, I'm going to something confident.
Confident, not cocky.
Not cocky, right? Not
Exactly.
cocky. So even after I won, I wanted to make sure that I spoke to each stylist and congratulated them on competing and thanking them for for the opportunity to work with them. Some of us we still communicate now. So I saw Deborah on here earlier. Shout out to Deborah. Like we still communicate. We communicated after the show. So just learning more about other stylists and their aesthetics because we all have a different aesthetic, So like my main thing is just staying true to who you are. Key gonna stay true. Key gonna make it do what they do, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
even
you show
all the way
out.
down to the way I dress, Key gonna put on a show. And I see Liz on here, but I want to give Liz like her roses because like I could not have with Deshonda, my
Liz
friend,
is
my executive
amazing.
producer, the one who I'm probably driving crazy right now, who's running this whole thing. Her roses. I want to give Paula, my makeup artist, her flowers. Lexi, my other makeup artist, and Denicia, my hairstylist. Like
Mhm.
the whole team. I just want to give the whole team their flowers because this was a team effort. This was not a solo effort. So thank you, and thank you.
Well,
Thank
models, thank
you.
you so much for coming on. It sounds like it was an amazing collaboration, and the outcome showed that. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. I miss you guys. It's good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Miss you
Miss
too.
y'all.
Looking forward to the next time.
We'll see y'all soon.
See you guys.
Okay, Miss Key, do we see any questions? Let me see. I don't see any. Well, thank you so much to all of our panelists. Thank you, Key, for allowing me to come on with you and host. And if you guys have any questions or want to get in contact with any of our panelists that were on, I'm sure that when we make this post, that we'll go ahead and drop information underneath that post for you to log on to. But in the meantime, you can always go to www.styledbythatskey.com. Go on there, book her, okay? Get a consultation. Also, thefashionmovement.com, prolificquarterly.us, or you can find me at theculturedmaven.com. Thank you and have a great night.
Oh, and stay tuned to the next episode for That's Key.
That's
Talk about
right.
next. Bye. Good night.
Got some good stuff in store.